Hello, everybody, and welcome to another GTHL team review. I'm Jaden Ho here with Kirby Sloan at the Six Hockey Studios as we're going to take you through the season that the Markham Majors had in this year's GTHL. So lots of talent on this team and a pretty good season for them. And we'll take a look at their roster to start it off. Andrew Galton and Jacob Gibbons, the goaltenders. We'll get into them a little bit more later. So let's dive in on their defense. Who stood out for you?
I mean, this whole defensive unit stood out to me. All season, they've been very strong, played together as a team very, very well. Just some names of guys that really showed up, and I always noticed on the ice, were Braden Bruce, Zayne Parekh, Lex Terrence, Dylan Woods. These are all guys that made such an impact. Zayne Parekh especially, I mean, that's the assistant captain on this team. He's somebody that brings that leadership value to this defensive core, and one of my personal favorites on this entire team.
Yeah, Jonathan Kapergitis and Taishi McNally filling out the rest of that blue line. And again, very deep, all talent all through those six defensemen. Let's take a look now at the forwards. Again, lots of depth, lots of talent here. Who stood out for you from the Majors front end?
There were a lot of guys on this team that I really liked. I really like Antonio Surqua, the Sutton native. You know, I mean, this what's great about this team is you have a lot of guys coming from all over Ontario, and the fact that they could gel so well was impressive to me. I really like guys like Liam Greentree, Jack Dean. These were guys that just really stood out to me and just really made an impact. I mean, I like some of the younger guys on this team as well. I found that they made a great impact.
All right, yeah, a very deep offensive group. Jonathan Carreri, Jack Dean, Tatsiano Foti, Anthony Giacoloni, kind of filling out the rest of that top six for this team. Carson Hall, Alex Kostov, Milo Tian, Ryan Tizard, filling out the rest of the group. Let's take a look at the standings now from this year's GTHL. The Markham Majors finishing a very impressive fourth place. So punching a little bit above their weight maybe with a 17-6-5 record. They had a .696 win percentage, 407 goals per game, 2.36 goals against per game. So obviously outscoring their teammates, which you will when you have that kind of a record. And let's take a look at their goaltending tandem, Jacob Gibbons and Andrew Galton, the two goaltenders for the Majors. What do you have on Jacob Gibbons?
Jacob Gibbons was a goalie that showed out all season and showed out in the biggest moments. I mean, you want to talk about a team coming in fourth behind some powerhouse teams. This was why. It started at the back end with Jacob Gibbons. He posted a .926 save percentage in the OHL Cup, placing him amongst the top 5 goalies in the tournament. Jacob Gibbons is such a skilled goalie in that sense. I mean, you don't achieve that by slacking off between the pipes, and he's just been so impressive. I mean, he handled the rebound control so well. He doesn't give up many second shot opportunities. You notice that he's fine to hold on to it if he has to. He's very impressive when he does. He just will swallow the puck if he has to. He's going to slow down that pace of the game if he finds his team's running away with it or is running back. His structure in the net is really, really strong. He's somebody that doesn't slouch in his stance. He uses his size really, really well. You know, with a lot of these goalies, they'll slouch just because they can move forward. They find it makes them more mobile, but he's not afraid to stand tall, really take up as much of the net as he can, and he makes sure to really block it out. He has a great compete level, too, which I really like, and I'm sure the scouts are liking, and this is what's really going to translate into the OHL level. You can see his hustle, his work ethic on the ice. He's somebody that wants to be out there. He wants to compete. He's not going to give up on plays early. He's not going to let plays die. And not only is he amongst the best in the league, but he displays an amazing skating ability despite his height. He's such a tall guy, has all those pads on. You know that some of the goalies don't worry too much about their skating, but he is a terrific skater despite all that, and that's why Jacob Gibbons has really impressed me all season.
Yeah, the other goaltender also really impressive season, Andrew Galton. He can shut the door. Sometimes he just makes those huge desperation saves that can completely change the tide of the game. He's a really good goalie when his team has the lead, and they did a lot in such a successful season. He doesn't look desperate. He doesn't scramble. He's very poised. He's very confident. And he's going to be square to the puck, and he's going to make the easy save during those stressful moments, and he calms his team down. We've talked about this ad nauseum at this point, but having that calming presence behind you for a defenseman is such an important piece of being able to play calmly as a defenseman, knowing that even if you do make a mistake, your goaltender will be behind you, backing you up during those stressful moments. He's just a really confident goalie, Andrew Galton. And he knows that he has the ability to make those big saves, and he's confident to get himself out and challenge the shooters so that knowing that he can come across and make saves should they try the pass or try to get the rebound. His rebound control wasn't so good at the beginning of the season, but you can see it improving game by game by game, every single game. He swallows up those pucks, he puts rebounds into the corners, and he doesn't allow those second chance opportunities. So 2 really great goaltenders for this Markham Majors team. As we'll take a look at the player spotlight now, Zayne Parekh. What do you have on him?
Zayne Parekh is somebody we touched on earlier. I mean, he earned that A for a reason. He racked up 8 points in 6 games in the OHL Cup and served as the team's top scorer. He is a right-handed defenseman, and he is leading your team in scoring. That is so impressive to me. That's not something you see often. He has impressive pace that helps push on offense. He can bring the rush. He really brings excitement to his game. I mean, when you watch him, he's just an electric player, and he's somebody that you really like. When you want to watch this minor hockey and you're really looking for who's going to develop into a star, you look for that explosiveness, that excitement, something that's entertaining to watch. That's what he has. He has really good vision as well. It's very impressive, something you really notice. He really slows down the game. He sees it all, and as a defenseman, that's what you need. You're the one starting these plays. You're starting the rushes. You're starting the transition, and that high hockey IQ, that vision mixed with his explosive stride, is something that makes him a really dangerous presence on the offensive end, and he's consistent with his breakout passes. We talked about the vision. It really is consistency with the breakout passes. He steadily hits his targets while he's on his stride, mind you. So for a defenseman, he has really good hands. He's making those heads-up plays. And what's really impressed me, and we talked about him being the leading goal scorer, it's that shot. It's dangerous from all over the ice, especially when it gets through traffic. It's hitting the back of the net, and there's a reason he's scoring so much for this team, and this team is winning because of it.
Yeah, and another player who you really want to have for a winning team, Antonio Surqua. He had a 58.6% face-off win percentage in the OHL Cup, which is so impressive. The Majors are a team, they want to play with possession, and when you're winning that many face-offs, that's what you're going to have. You're going to always have the puck, and knowing you can send Surqua out and knowing that he's probably going to win you a face-off is such a good thing for a coach to have in their back pocket. So he also put up a point per game at the OHL Cup in those 6 games, over a point per game, 1 goal and 6 assists for 7 points in 6 games. Just such an efficient player, such a talented offensive player, and he's consistent all around the ice. He's got great speed. He can get through the defense. He can cause odd man rushes using that speed. He gets around along the outside, and he cuts into the middle once he gets past those defensemen. It's just such an impressive feat with that speed, and he's got the puck skills to keep up with his feet. You see often there are players who can just go up the ice so fast, but they can't keep up with their hands. They lose the puck. They leave it back in the defensive zone. Not Antonio Surqua. His hands can keep up with his feet, and he can use it to deke out goaltenders as well. He gets those fakes. He can put the puck in the back of the net in tight as well. So he's really solid player offensively. He uses his body to protect the puck while he's stick handling, and he keeps the puck moving all throughout the game, using that speed, using those hands. So a really talented player, Antonio Surqua, is such an important piece of this Majors team. All right, we'll take a look now at our draft tiers. We've divided the draft into a few rounds just to kind of see where some of these players might end up going. So who do you have going in those first 3 rounds?
What you really like about this team is I think there are a lot of OHL players here, a lot of guys that are going to stick in the league. And so for our first 3 rounds, we have multiple players. Zayne Parekh, we've talked a lot about. There's a reason that I think he's going in the first round. He is somebody that is going to be an early pick, somebody that you want in the OHL, and his skill set is going to translate to it. In round 2 or late round 1, I think we can see Liam Greentree, Jacob Gibbons, and Andrew Galton all going. There's some elite goalies here, and I think Jacob Gibbons is one of those that is just going to go earlier. He's somebody that's shown he can be so impressive, and he's going to develop into the OHL really well. And in that 3rd round is Alex Kostov. I think he really is going to develop. I honestly think he could be a 2nd round pick as well if teams are smart enough to take him there. But with the depth of talent in this year's draft, he could fall early 3rd.
All right, now looking at the rest of the draft here, rounds 4 all the way down to round 15. We've got Carson Hall, Lex Terrence, Boyutian, Jack Dean, Anthony Giacalone, Antonio Surqua, who we mentioned quite a bit. That 10th round, that could be a major steal for an OHL team. Braden Bruce, Dylan Woods, Jonathan Carreri. So lots of talent all throughout that draft. I'm sure lots of these players are going to turn into successful OHL and more than likely professional hockey players in the near future. So we're looking forward to seeing how they do at the draft and seeing how they do in the rest of their pro careers. Thank you for joining us for this GTHL team review. I'm Jaden Ho for Kirby, Sloan, and everybody else here at the Six Hockey. Thank you for joining us.